Okay, we have a little brief overlook of the ownership of Newcastle United by Mike Ashley. This is a brief overview. I've only picked out some key points. I'm not going through all the managerial changes, although I have put some of the long-serving managers of the club under Mike Ashley at the bottom. Anyway, let's start from the beginning, shall we? He purchased the club outright in the summer of 2007, in about June, July time. And within 2 years, he's taken a mid-table club that wants to push for European football, and they're relegated in 2009 to the Championship. They are abysmal in the 2008-2009 season. They are absolutely shocking. As soon as that happened, he puts the club up for sale in the June of 2009 for £100 million. Chris Hughton is put in charge after several managerial changes in this period that included Joe Kinnear and Alan Shearer. Chris Hughton's put in charge, and he gets them promoted back up, but he doesn't see out his first full Premier League season before getting the sack. In fact, 1 3/4 seasons he's in charge. The club is no longer for sale as well. Part of the reason why Chris Hughton, lost his job is the sale of Andy Carroll to Liverpool for £35 million on the transfer deadline day in 2011 on the 31st of January. This is a big talking point among Newcastle fans. And Andy Carroll's career since he left Newcastle hasn't been great. At Newcastle, he was a key centre forward, very physical, but he was young, he was a bit raw, but he was scoring a lot of goals for a forward of his type. And he sold for £35 million. Bearing in mind, the club was put up for sale 2 years before, valued at £100 million. So if one player is worth £35 million, I think Mike Ashley was just pissed off. He wasn't, I don't think, as serious as selling the club as years later on. And that's not the first time he'll put the club up when he has a bit of a moody day. He's putting the club up for sale. However, even though they sell Andy Carroll and there's a few other transfer moves that may be questionable in this time, they finish 5th place in the 2012-2013 season under Alan Pardew, who is the longest-serving manager of this regime of Mike Ashley at 5 seasons. They finish 5th and they get into Europe, but unfortunately the form starts deserting Alan Pardew and his team. There's some very questionable transfer decisions. And they're relegated back to the Championship in 2016. But Rafa Benitez was an interim manager at the time, and then he's made full-time manager. This is his second season, full season, where he's permanent manager in charge. He gets them promoted. However, after Rafa Benitez has got them promoted back to the Premier League, there is a little thing to do with Djemba Ba's transfer to Chelsea. Big tax fraud investigation coming out of the French authorities, but it does involve Newcastle, West Ham and Chelsea because Djemba Ba has played for all 3 clubs. And there is arrests being made. Newcastle United's offices have been raided. Newcastle United's CEO has been arrested. There's been, Mike Ashley's right-hand man has been investigated. There are things going on in this period between 2010 and 2017 that aren't, all prim and proper. So Rafa Benitez is still in charge. However, he almost wasn't because of this takeover bid. This is the most serious takeover bid Mike Ashley has had. He has put the club up for sale in 2017. Amanda Staveley put forward a £300 million bid. Now, she wasn't going to be rushed, and Mike Ashley was trying to force the deal through before Christmas. And she wasn't going to be rushed. And I did a fair few videos on this subject, which are in the football playlist. So if you are interested on the Amanda Staveley takeover bid, feel free to watch the videos that I posted following this story until suddenly it just disappeared. We don't know what happened to the takeover. We don't know if it collapsed or it was put on hold. But Mike Ashley still wants to sell the club. Still wants to sell the club. Obviously, he wanted the deal done by Christmas 2017. That was not going to happen. It then carried on over into the new year. And then he put another date of Easter. And we had reports that it was getting close. And, it was finalising the deal. And then nothing happened. This is a big talking point, is the handling of this takeover bid for £300 million, which is 3 times what he valued the club at back in 2009. So in a decade, the club's value he's valued at £100 million then. Someone comes in at 300 to 350 million. It depends on the source, but we'll go with 300 because that was what was widely reported by the sports media in the UK. Triple in value, right? But in this period here, he values it at 600 million. And he was tempted to put it on sale again in this period. Whether he did or not is another thing, because I think he was just generally having a padding, the club's crap, I'm selling it. And I think here, he just got them promoted and they were doing decent in the Premier League. And this was a serious offer. There were other offers tabled as well, and he's still wanting to sell the club. But Mike Ashley has his own business problems away from football with Sports Direct, where the board are voting against him, and the shareholders don't like him. And he's been in the media a lot in this period for a lot of the wrong reasons to do with his business practices. Now, club's still for sale. Rafa Benitez is the second longest serving manager under the ownership of Mike Ashley. The longest serving is Alan Pardew. Chris Hughton was on, I think, really given a real crap deal by Mike Ashley. There's been 9 managers, from permanent, temporary, interim, and caretaker managers. Joe Kinnear lasted precisely 2 weeks. He provided because he already had a touchline ban, and then he had a massive heart attack and had to have a heart operation and was replaced. So Joe Kinnear is the most random of managerial appointments. Just shows at the early stages of Mike Ashley's ownership how, in this period, how mental and Mickey Mouse show it was. And even Alan Pardew, who got the team to 5th, described his ownership as a Mickey Mouse show. Mike Ashley is a maverick owner, and he's not popular. St James's Park is a spiritual home of football in the northeast, and he decides to call it the Sports Direct Arena. Yeah. Also, some of the sponsorship deals with Northern Rock, Virgin Money, and Wonga have been criticised as well. And 2 of those 3 companies have gone bust. So he doesn't even choose his sponsors wisely. He has alienated a lot of the fan base. And his failure to sell here is striking, because that was a serious bid. And Amanda Staveley, the limited knowledge I have on her is she was involved in 2006, 2007 of an proposed takeover of Liverpool, which got close. And she was also involved in Sheikh Mansour's takeover of Man City. Back in 2007. So she knows a bit about owning a sports team. She's been involved in one takeover that was successful. She helped finance it. She helped, do the discussions and the meetings. And the other one, she was also again part of a group bid to take over Liverpool. So she's not like not clueless. She has a clue, and she also wanted to keep Rafa Benitez as his manager. That was crucial. Rafa Benitez is not certain on his position, and Mike Ashley is not giving enough funds to the transfer market. Back here, though, selling Andy Carroll was a big thing because he picked up a lot of cheap signings, including Jemba Ba. And in this period, this is where it gets interesting. The Jemba Ba transfer is subject of a police investigation in France that has come over here, which has led to arrests and raids on Newcastle United's offices. So in this period, when they get promoted back to the Premier League under Rafa Benitez, a story comes to light which I did cover. So just before they get promoted, I covered this story early days in the channel back in 2017. So it's a bit more coarse and a little less professional than this video. There's a bit more swearing, and me, I don't like Mike Ashley at all. And I'm not a Newcastle fan, but I loathe Mike Ashley. I'm less than keen on the man. But the 2017 tax avoidance investigation, there was a tax dodge, there was some dodgy paperwork in this period. So the entire time Mike Ashley has owned the club, there's been suspicions in the transfer market. That's still ongoing as well. So he wants to sell the club, and there's this tax investigation that also involves West Ham and Chelsea and a host of French clubs to do with agents avoiding paying tax and players avoiding paying tax, and the transfers, they're trying to get around tax loopholes. Some of it legal, some of it otherwise. And there's some suspicious activity going on at the moment. And that's an ongoing investigation. Again, that's also gone pretty silent, but it's a French legal investigation, and they take, well, forever, because Jacques Chirac, former French president, should be in prison. No, he's not, because he's crook and he's not in prison. So that's the French legal system for you. It takes so long that they just give up putting him in jail, and yeah, you can just pay a fine. But if you look at the permanent managers, only 3 of them really have lasted more than a season. Steve McLaren lasted 9 months when they got relegated last time. So Pardew's the longest serving at 5 seasons. And then he went, I've had enough, I'm going to Crystal Palace. And it's when he was at Crystal Palace that he gave an interview saying that it was a Mickey Mouse show behind the scenes when it came to the transfer market and who was in charge of transfer policy. But there we go, the ownership of Mike Ashley, the chaos that is. This is a brief overview. There's a lot of things in here that I haven't covered. But the big news is, at this end, there's a tax investigation and a Amanda Staveley's takeover bid that sort of disappeared. In the middle, the sale of Andy Carroll, and at the beginning, when he puts the club up for sale for not a lot of money, considering the offer that came in this time last year. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.